And welcome to the post-Super Bowl edition of Let's Talk Nutrition. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning in. Boy, oh boy. They need to put that game on at 4 o'clock so you can go to bed by 10. Wow, what a game. Notwithstanding who won, who lost, and all that, my instinct is always to look for the human interest. And that's what producers of the Super Bowl do. They have a bunch of producers. But they will find all the human interest stories that they report for the 2 weeks from the game, and especially during the week leading up to the game. And that's my instinct. And rooting around looking for the human interest story. And the human interest story was the quarterback for the Eagles. It was one of them. Why? Because he was going to quit. You know, he got moved around a little bit, and they were talking about it yesterday prior to the show and during the game, and during the game. And he had been traded. He was not a top line quarterback. He was not first string. Even they were pushing him around here and there, and he went fishing with his brother-in-law. And he said, I'm going to give it one more shot, but I'm only going to play for the Broncos. He wanted to play for the coach for the Broncos, and he went there. And then they traded him to Philly the following year. Now, he was going to quit. And as fate would have it, the first-string quarterback got injured for the Phillies, for the Eagles. And Foles he was it. He had to play. Played okay the first game, next couple of games, not so much, and then he really came into his own. And I guess, beyond football, the story has great relevance. And I think for all people, if you pay attention, he was going to quit. He seemed like he wasn't succeeding. You just don't know what destiny is going to be, and not to give up and to stick with it no matter what. I mean, those are easy things to say, and it's cliche to say those things. It's almost worthless to even say them. They're so cliche. But the fact of the matter is, there are times when this kind of narrative resonates. And when you apply it to people's health, wellness, and their well-being, and many are struggling. I got an email today from somebody who's having a very difficult time. You can always send me an email, Dr. Garko at letstalknutrition.com. And you think you got troubles. You ought to read some of these emails. Keeps things in perspective for me, and people not giving up and doing their best no matter what their circumstances are, and somehow finding a way through all of that darkness. And that's what this young man did. He's a nice guy. He's a nice family man. He got wife. They were interviewing him, and they asked him about his wife. He broke down during the Super Bowl week. That's how much he thinks of her. He couldn't finish the interview. He got very emotional. So, that's why I watch the game. I look for these stories because this is a challenge, and the game is a metaphor. That football game is a metaphor for so many of the challenges we face in our life. Sometimes you feel alone. Even when you're on a team, you still feel alone. I get it. And that can really play with your head. It can. And especially when you're sick and you're alone. That can really mess with you. And you have to be wired in a special way to cope with that. I know all about that. Unfortunately. But I see remarkable stories of courage all the time. And it's one of the reasons why we do this show, because I know there are many people listening and watching this show that have challenges that others cannot even imagine. Right? And I hear some of those stories, and it's sobering. And no matter how challenged some of the folks are, some of the people, individuals that listen and watch this show, and the struggle that they have, their inspiration is remarkable. They want to do better, and they keep fighting. I love that. So that's why I watch the game. Of course, I love football too, but that young man, the odds of him doing what he did are so. You and I would have a better chance going to Vegas and winning at blackjack or roulette or something and walking home with a pile of money. It's just the odds were totally against this kid, and he did it. I love that. I'm sure you do too, even if the Eagles were not your team of preference. He's my preference in terms of human beings, and a humble kid. He's humble. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. He's one of 32 people, because there's only 32 NFL teams. So to win the Super Bowl.
Right. Of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady, no less. He went up against Tom Brady.
Right.
Who is remarkable.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's another human interest story with him. He changed his diet.
Yeah.
If you could you Google that?
Yeah.
He's 40 years old. He has no business playing at this level, even playing. Never mind at the level he's playing. You may not like him. My daughter has real issues with him, but because of the way he treated his girlfriend or his first wife. But, she can't stand him. But he's a remarkable athlete. And he's 40 years old, and he's playing at this level. He switched up his training program and his diet especially. And I keep saying, he's smart. He understands, and he takes care of his body. And that's why he's able to play quarterback for the New England Patriots. That's a violent game at 40 years old. Some people at 40 are afraid to walk across the street.
His diet is caffeine-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, fungus-free, sugar-free, and GMO-free.
Yeah. Do they talk about it being a whole food, plant-based diet?
No, but he did do a book on it. And
what's the title of the book?
It is called the TB12 Method. The TB12 Method: How to Achieve a Lifetime of Sustained Peak Performance.
Is that on Amazon?
Yes, it is.
Is he the author? Is he a co-author? Does he have some scientist with him on the book?
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah. Apparently, the diet has, if you notice, he's leaned out. His face is sort of gaunt. I switched. I'm a whole food, plant-based diet, no meat, no dairy, and over the weekend, absolutely no oil. It makes a difference for me, for my situation, for my life, for what I'm facing and what I've had to deal with and what I'm trying to achieve. He's smart.
Says it's just Tom Brady as the author.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look at that during the break. What's it called? TB what?
TB12 Method.
T is in Tom, B is in boy?
Tom Brady 12. TB12.
Okay. We'll see what that 12
I'm happy for our fans there in the Pennsylvania area with Philly getting a win. So.
Well, they're one of the arch rivals of the Steelers. My boys weren't playing, but it's all right.
Same state.
Same state. The game was wonderful. It was a great game. I had no business staying up that late.
I went to bed at 8:30 after watching Snow White.
He didn't watch the Super Bowl. He watched Snow White. I kid you not. I told him, I said, I saw that when it came out. I was just joking because it came out in 1937. I'm not that old. You're listening to Let's Talk Nutrition Coast to Coast. It's Super Bowl every day around here.
I'm Joy McCarthy, holistic nutritionist, and I expect more from my multivitamin. I've researched many vitamins, and what's truly different about Every Woman's One Daily from New Chapter is that it's fermented with probiotics and whole foods and gentle even on an empty stomach. Every Woman's One Daily helps you feel good every day, giving you immune, energy, and stress support, and nutrients for bone and heart health. You will notice a difference. Every Woman's One Daily recently won the Best Multivitamin Award, and I love that it's non-GMO project verified. Discover the wisdom of nature with New Chapter.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce.
Okay, so I'm taking a look at Tom Brady's dietary regimen. It's worth talking about. It can serve our purpose here on the show in trying to educate and empower the listener and the viewer to take charge of his or her health. He's on the right track with some things, and some of the things he's claiming about why he eats a certain way and the health benefit associated with that way is not supported by science. I will point those out to you. But he's generally on the right track. Generally. So There was one on Vox, VOX. I'm sure many of you are Vox.com. They did an article on Brady's book that Gary was talking about. And he has a line of supplements and food products, and so they're capitalizing on his celebrity. The TB12, Tom Brady 12 method. He claims that the way he eats is going to help him play till he's 45. Okay, well, I wish him the best, and I hope he doesn't get injured and he makes it. In the Vox article, they were pretty harsh, written by Julia Beluz, giving her attribution. She's pretty harsh. This was just written, was updated on February the 4th, 2018. Quote, he's also a peddler of baseless, oh my God, baseless health claims, most recently in a new exercise and diet book, the TB12 method, close quote. She goes after him pretty good in this article. She does point out some good things. Brady has 12 principles by which he claims will contributes to sustain, his words, sustained peak performance. These ideas, these principles were developed with his friend, body coach, and business partner, Alex Guerrero. I don't know who he is. He doesn't have a nutrition degree. I don't think. Check him out. Alex Guerrero. That's his business partner and body coach. Following Mr. Guerrero's advice, Brady does during certain exercises and massages that supposedly increase muscle pliability. And the writer or the author says, quote, a concept exercise scientists say is bogus, close quote. Now, Brady's diet is interesting. His TB12 brand, imagine that. He has nutritional bars, dietary supplements, and they're featured throughout the book. I'm not surprised. He's trying to, he's going to capitalize on his celebrity. It really doesn't matter how much you exercise you do, he says. If you're not eating the right food and providing your body the right nutrients. He's right, close quote. He's absolutely right about that. You can exercise till you're blue in the face. And I've watched it for years in the gym. It's like you're hitting yourself in the head with those weights. When you're not eating right, you're not going to be able to make the gains and maximize the benefit of the exercise. Now, it's not a waste of time altogether, but it's not maximized. I see it all the time. He's into this alkalizing the body business. Now, I'm going to let me just tell you right now up front about that. There is so much nonsense and hocus pocus about that. It's stupid. It borders on stupidity. We got to make the body more alkaline. It's from 1 to 14. If we can get it closer to 14, the better. That's just not true. The body's natural tendency is to keep alkalinity about 7, 7.2, somewhere in there. That's what it strives to do all day long, every day of your life. There's a reason for that. It does need to be acidic. And they're trying to make it totally alkaline. Because one of the principles that he believes in, and I agree with him, is to fight inflammation. And everything he does is for an anti-inflammatory purpose. I get that. I understand. I'm with him 100%. He's right about that. Especially as we age, the body tends to heat up, if you will. It's more oxidized for different reasons, which I can't get into now. I've dealt with this on other shows, but he's right about his instinct is to reduce the inflammation, and he's being banged around a lot, so he has a lot of his body's injured all the time. I am sure, in one form or another. So he's probably running a lot of systemic inflammation, given the rigors of his workouts and playing football. So he figured out somewhere along the line to reduce the inflammation. So he thought, oh, I'll alkaline my body. I'll make it more alkaline. What'd you find?
I'm reading the stories so I can get. There's nothing really that says his education.
Guerrero.
Yeah.
He's not a nutritionist, man. Nevertheless, he believes alkaline foods lower his pH level. The writer, the author, puts in quotes, he's wrong here. Close quote. He's right. She's right. He is wrong here. Now, he's right about anti-inflammatory foods enhancing his performance because they help him recover faster. I agree with that. Because if your body is fighting inflammation, and I'm sure he has a ton of it, given the way it's banged around, it's focusing on that can't take care of other matters.
Master's degree in Chinese medicine.
Okay, so he's not altogether ignorant. This is Guerrero?
Mm-hmm.
Where did he get that degree? We'll find out.
Working on it.
I'm using this, Brady, as an example of where truth and myth can get melded together sometimes, then you end up with I don't know what.
Energy, and more energy.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
referring to, talking about Tom Brady's diet and his general health program. Vox's Julia Belluz, she wrote a detailed rebuttal of Tom Brady's dietary principles and his claims associated with those principles. She, in essence, she does find agreement, I do too, some agreement with him that his diet is relatively healthy. I would generally describe it as that as well. And probably does help him in his athletic performance. Nevertheless, Belluz and I as well, some of his dietary recommendations and claims may not be as sound as he thinks they are. And he's attributing certain effects to these principles that are not necessarily true. I'll explore this further at the top of the next hour in my monologue. But I didn't plan on doing this, but this is a good way, because he is exactly what so many people I know are just like he is in this regard. They're doing many sound things, scientifically supported, a lot of evidence, either scientific or traditional use data over hundreds or thousands of years from different cultures. But some of the stuff he's doing may not be creating the effects that he thinks. He's into all this business of making the body more alkaline. In his mind, the more alkaline, the better. I'm sorry, that is not sound. And there's no science to support that. Legitimate science. Why does the body want to keep it around 7.2? That's what it strives to do that. pH means potential for hydrogen. Doesn't mean pretty hot, by the way. Like my hair cutters said on Saturday.
I see you got a haircut.
I did get a haircut. My guest is Jas Mattu, and it's great to have him on. He's an educator for Strauss Herbs, that nice company up in Canada. I'll give you the exact name. We'll get you the website. We're going to talk about what they do up there with this company. They were a sponsor several years ago, and they're back. And they have an interesting array of dietary supplements, and one that is legendary in North America, especially in Canada. And I mean, it's legendary. It truly is. It's been around for decades. It's a family concept in terms of its formulation, the Strauss Heart Drops. And Jas will talk about that. He has on other shows, but it's always good to have him back. Jas, welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition 2018. I don't know if you all were into the Super Bowl up there. I know you're in Canada, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me back.
Were you a football fan or no?
Unfortunately, no. No, not very much at all. I know it was huge. A lot of Canadians were watching the Super Bowls yesterday. You can certainly tell by being out and about and being quite a lot of people were in their homes. So I'm sure it went down really, really well.
Let me ask you. You've been around a while. Tom Brady seems to be reflective of many people where they do a lot of good things for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. And then they do a lot of things they think are doing good, and they're not aware, and they absolutely believe that what they're doing is good for them, like making the body closer to 14 in alkalinity, potential for hydrogen, then closer to 7.2. Mm-hmm. He's a prime example of that, where you get science and myth blended together, and somebody puts together a program, and that's how they live. Have you experienced that in your professional life?
I have. I mean, the whole issue of alkalinity, definitely. I mean, there's some degree of credit to it, but from what you've described there earlier in the show, I mean, it seems somewhat of a stretch. The importance of alkalinity, and we have to remember that the body's capable of regulating that acidity and alkalinity itself too. I mean, it must, in order for on a cellular level, for the cells to remain at that 7.36 level of pH that it's meant to do. But we do have to be very, very conscious and very careful about how we perceive that information and how we interpret that information and what we choose to do with it. So
Jazz, he's doing it, and he's right about this. He's trying to keep the inflammation levels low. I agree with that part of his.
Absolutely.
He's on an anti-inflammatory diet because he has a lot. Being a football player, they get banged around a lot, and he's aging, and he figured out a long time ago keep the inflammation level low. He's right about that, but I'm not so sure running a high alkaline level is going to do that in and of itself. Yes. I'll get your take when we come back on that. And then, of course, we'll get some whatever breaking news there is from Strauss Heart Drops, the company. The product is Strauss Heart Drops. But the full technical name of the company is, Jazz, what is it?
It's Strauss Naturals.
There you go. And naturally, indeed. And Jazz will explain why. And his name is, I'm especially fond of his first name, given that I was a jazz musician for so many years since I was a kid. Started playing. Still do. Jazzmatazz, not Jazzmatazz.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
Jazz is my guest today on LTN Coast to Coast and Worldwide. He's an educator for Strauss Naturals, a company that is quite well known in North America and especially in Canada for a lot of different reasons. And they have a storied history, and beginning in with the Strauss family. And it's Jazz has laid out that narrative bits and pieces here and there along the way since he's been on the show, and it's part of the you can't separate that, it seems, from the product itself. There are some products that are like that. They're connected to a narrative that distinguish it from other dietary supplement products. I hope I didn't misrepresent, but that's sort of my interpretation of the Heart Drops, Jazz.
No, that's perfect what you described there, Dr. Garko. Yeah, I mean, certainly Strauss Naturals has been, it's an 8th generation family.
Wow.
That followed an Asian recipe that dates back 300 years. So, these days when we look at natural products, natural supplements, and whilst there are some phenomenal products out there, there are not many companies that can make that claim of a formula that's, over 300 years old, 8th generation. I mean, if we just comprehend the sort of the history of one family who have gone through generations and developed a formula and perfected it, and that's really what the Strauss Heart Drops is. It's a formula that's, a testimonial for over 300 years, I guess, if you want to put it like that.
Do you happen to know anything about the early history of the formulation and the family and how it even came into in other words, to borrow a biblical concept, the genesis of it? You may not. If you don't, that's okay. I wouldn't expect you to, but if you do, I would be interested.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, I mean, I don't know it in great deal, but as you know, obviously, I mean, the herbs have been around for many, many years since the existence of our planet, and herbal medicine's always been used. But this particular formula, it originates from Europe and many parts of Europe and Asia, as you know, for centuries and centuries have looked at herbs, at plants, in terms of their healing properties. So this is really, really where it stems from. There's some great history there that really brings about this formulation.
Can you sketch I'm speaking now specifically of the Strauss Heart Drops. Can you sketch the ingredients?
Absolutely. First and foremost, one of the key ingredients of it is the aged garlic with the stabilized allicin. So immediately when you pick up a bottle, you can get that sort of aroma of the garlic permeating through there. It's got hawthorn berry and the hawthorn fruit, and these are great. I mean, I grew up in the UK where hawthorn trees were commonly seen in the streets. Beautiful trees, and the berries and the fruits of the hawthorn have been known for centuries about the properties with regards to benefits of cardiovascular disease. European mistletoe is another formula. This is a common mistletoe that we hang over during Christmas and stuff like that. So it has some amazing properties too. A herb called motherwort, which is a great sort of cardiac tonic, a nice sedative for the heart there, and cayenne, as we know, a little bit of spice in life, and it's going to help to push that circulation, help to stabilize the arteries, that type of thing. And then bilberry, so from the family of the sort of the huckleberry and blueberries, and so bilberry extract as a powerful antioxidant that's put in there, and white willow bark, the willow bark, just to help with regards to, from a not only from a pain management, but also just helping to make sure that the blood is flowing. So when we look at this formula of garlic, hawthorn, mistletoe, motherwort, cayenne, bilberry, and white willow, it's a very, very comprehensive formula that sort of got tweaked and perfected, for many, many years, and that's one of the reasons why we're getting great results, not only in Canada and the US, but across the world, and as you described it earlier as being legendary, it truly is.
Mm-hmm. And it's not a powder or a pill; it is a liquid. Yes,
that's correct. Yeah, it is a liquid. It's referred to as a tincture. So it is a liquid that you're basically taking a few mils depending on the dosage that your body needs. Ideally under the tongue, so it's absorbed very quickly into the system, and a lot of people notice the benefits of it fairly quickly, sometimes in a matter of days or a few weeks, and then obviously for more advanced sort of concerns and stuff like that, it can take a little longer depending on the dosage. But yeah,
have you had people take the product, do a how can I put a lab on some sort of lab blood test, and then take the product and then see a difference in labs in term? I just generally said that because I'll let you describe the specifics if that has happened.
Absolutely, we certainly have. I mean, it's interesting you bring that up, and that's really, really important these days, especially as a practitioner. People want to see some sort of tangible. So people have had cardiac coronary scores. They've had ultrasounds of coronary arteries where they've had some sort of measurements from blood pressures to cardiac enzymes measured. And in fact, Strauss is one of the only cardiovascular products that will actually guarantee their product. So they do encourage for people to go to their physicians and have some of these tests done that are available, and perhaps prior to taking the formula, and if people will be willing to take the appropriate dosage, which is typically about 7.5 mils per day, over the course of 2 to 3 months. Within 3 months to go back and be retested. There's actual clinicals that we've got, the company have huge amounts of testimonials from people that has made a difference, where there has been some improvement. So yeah, certainly in terms of clinical data with regards to cardiovascular functioning, the product does, and like I said, it's recommended. It's a guaranteed product that within 3 months, if taking it at this, that you'll see a difference.
And garlic, hawthorn, cayenne, these are ancient herbs, and then the other herbs that Jas laid out. The formulation is pretty clever when you look at those different herbs and the compounds that constitute them and how they interplay with one another to get the effect that they do. We come back, we'll explore this a little further. Strauss Heart Drops. Strauss Naturals is the company, and we invite you to go to their website, and you can get there by going Heart Drops, the number 4, Arabic numeral 4, life. HeartDropsForLife.com is one of the websites that'll get you right to the company. Yes, LTN coast to coast and worldwide. And welcome to the show, the 2018 edition of LTN, coast to coast and worldwide. We're worldwide because we stream. And the only place we have not appeared on the globe is Antarctica. At least, have you picked any place up in Antarctica?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Penguins.
Well, I dig the penguins, man. The penguins are cool. They do that march, brother. What a terrible fate. They lost their ability to fly, but they can walk and swim. Yes. We are so delighted that you could stop by today. It's our pleasure to be here, and it's our privilege as well. My guest is Jas Mattu. He's an educator for Strauss Naturals. Jas is an herbalist. We're going to bring him back on here in a moment. Pardon me. Of course, yesterday was the Super Bowl, and there were any number of reasons why I watched and pay attention. I didn't pay attention to any of the lead up. I was too busy. But I did watch the game, and I did see some of the pregame stuff. But along the way, there were two things that caught my interest. One is a human interest story, and the other is a nutritional story related to the Super Bowl. Having trouble with my voice, excuse me. And the human interest story, of course, the quarterback for the Eagles, that's a young man that was going to quit at one point. He was ready to just end it, quit playing football because, he was being traded and this and that. He wasn't doing, to be candid, he wasn't doing well. So as the story goes, he went on a fishing trip. You could check me on that, Gary. It's either his brother or his brother-in-law. And to think things over, and he decided he would give it one more try. And he said, coach I'll play for was the one with the Broncos. And he went there and he played, and then got traded the following year to Philly. And as fate would have it, the quarterback for the Phillies, the first string quarterback, gets injured. Season-ending injury. Out. Foles is now the quarterback. Like it, love it, take it, or leave it. They had no choice. Played okay the first game, pretty good. Next few games, not so much, and then started to really perform. Wow. This young man, for somebody who was going to quit, the way he has performed, the stress and the pressure has been remarkable. And took them to the Super Bowl, man. There's a lesson to be learned in there.
Only 18 months ago he was going to quit. 18 months ago.
18 months ago, and you see how fate is.
Yeah.
So did you find anything? Was his brother or his brother-in-law?
He went on a fishing trip with his brother-in-law, and they had a lengthy conversation with his wife and his family, and he opted to give the NFL a second chance. And 18 months ago he was going to quit, which is when Wentz entered in that end of the regular season, he had that injury. So,
I mean, you can't make it up.
No.
And this is the first time that team has won the Super Bowl, isn't it?
Yes, they won a championship in 1960, but it wasn't the Super Bowl. And he's the only man, and Foles is the only man in Super Bowl history to throw a touchdown and catch one.
There you go. So, not bad for somebody who was going to quit. I guess the lesson there is think it through. Think it through. Don't make an emotional decision. And there he is. I love that. The other interesting story is Tom Brady, the quarterback for the Patriots. Not so much his performance as a quarterback, well, indirectly, but his diet and his regimen, exercise regimen, lifestyle regimen, whatever you call it. A lot has been made of it. And I've been taking a look at that, and I didn't plan on doing that today, but it serves a good purpose because he's a wonderful example. I don't know if wonderful is the right word. He's a good example of people who do many things right for the right reasons, but do many things wrong for what they believe are the right reasons. And so he's got some sound principles mixed in with some myth, at least in my opinion, and others, that he attribute that will, he according to Mr. Brady, accounts for his success in his health, being able to play at this high level at 40 years of age in the NFL. He wants to play till he's 45. Now, his diet, in my research now, I discovered it's primarily, mostly plant-based. He does eat some duck, some chicken, some lean beef, and he won't eat anything but organic, I understand. And then he has some ideas about inflammation, which I agree with. He wants to try to reduce inflammation levels, and he doesn't eat any nightshade eggplant, no nightshade vegetables, no tomatoes, no eggplant, because they are purported to inspire inflammation. He won't touch a tomato. Little alliteration there. And it's all about being anti-inflammatory. He's under the belief that if he keeps his body more alkaline than not, that's going to help control the inflammation. I am not an advocate of doing what the body wants to do naturally. Keep your alkalinity somewhere homeostatic in the middle. The body does need to be acidic. And this potential for hydrogen, this pH business, if you study chemistry, you understand what that concept is. The body works mightily to do that. So, there are other things that he believes. He has 12 principles, and apparently his business partner and body coach, as he's called, Guerrero, is that his last name?
Yeah, Alejandro Guerrero.
Right. Has some degree, Chinese medicine degree from some university that's no longer in business. You make of that what you will. I don't know Mr. Guerrero. I don't know his credentials. I have no idea. But apparently he has Mr. Brady's ear. And he believes in massage and other kinds of things. The article that I was referring to, using today from Vox, where the writer really goes after Brady, she lays it out there. I give her credit. I mean, that's risky business because he's quite popular in some circles. Some people hate him. They call him names. That's not necessary. But he's interesting. He's an interesting character. So he's like many. Does many things the right way for the right reasons. Does many things the wrong way, believing it's the right reason. People get a blend of science and myth put together, and before you do anything, do your own independent research. Look for the data. What I used to tell my students in my research methods class, show me the data. Where are the data? You're going to reach these findings, make these inferences, and reach these conclusions. Where are the data on which those are based? No data? I gotta question it. Even with data. Because sometimes the science is shoddy. That's true too. You are listening to Let's Talk Nutrition, coast to coast worldwide. Come back, we'll tell you how to connect and get you connected to Jas Mattu, educator for Strauss Naturals. Venerable company. We'll be back.
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilo Max, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension, exclusively available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition, wherever and however you may be listening or watching the show, and whatever you may be doing. Jazz Batu is my guest, educator for Strauss Naturals. He's a herbalist. Here's how to connect with the show.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255. Or anywhere in the sound of my voice at 813-636-8255. Follow us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition, on Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Let's Talk Nutrition, where all our archive shows are closed captioned. So if you watched any of the older shows, they're closed captioned on there for you. You can also go to our app. We have an app. And watch us live on our app now. So we're excited about that. February 17th, big day.
17th?
February 17th is a big day for us. It's a Saturday. From 12 to 4, we're going to be at 506 East Fowler Avenue, which is the Faces of VDC Health Fair, which is the vitamin discount centers there in Temple Terrace. It's right down the street from your favorite place, Starbucks. And across the street from one of mine, and that's Mosey. So if you see the big Mosey building, we're right across the street from that.
On an angle, catty corner. Catty corner, as they say.
Yeah. Cattywampus if you're from Dade City.
That's a place here in Florida. We'll be there 12 to 4. I guess I'll be one of the faces there. Gary will be one of the faces there. It's really for the customers that frequent that store. Vitamin Discount Center is a chain of stores here in the Tampa Bay area. There are many other chains that I'm familiar with and visit and know the people.
We got we're going to have free food by Little Greek Restaurant, prizes and gifts. Get to meet you, so bring your health questions. There's
going to be a ton of prizes and gifts, and there's going to be a ton of food, I'm told. The manager, Sophia, I chatted with her over the weekend, and she just laid out all that they have planned to do. It's going to be quite a remarkable event, and I encourage you to go by. They're going to have some of the major supplement companies there, and they always bring things to give away, product samples, and there'll be gift baskets and this and that.
And I even think the Temple Terrace Fire Department's going to be there.
Yeah, they usually show up. The fine firefighters in the Temple Terrace. Temple Terrace is right outside Tampa, and it's a nice community. Quite familiar. It's near the University of South Florida. So we'll be there 12 to 4. We look forward to it. On today's show, in Peering Live, is Jazz Mattu, as I said, educator for Strauss Naturals. Jazz, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, man. Strauss Heart Drops was formulated by the herbalist Jim Strauss many, many years ago, but based on a formula that's several hundred years old, using particular herbs that seem to have, and it's almost cliche to say these days, synergistic effect, and you listed those ingredients. Is there anything you'd like more to say about that formulation and how and why it works?
Well, I think the testimonials really speak for itself. We've had, or the company have had, thousands of testimonials from people addressing, I wish we had more time to go through some of these, but perhaps that's something that we can cover for next time. But testimonials of people with high blood pressure, with just poor circulation, with some more sort of serious health concerns and stuff like that. Whilst we can't claim to have cured, these particular conditions and stuff, but there's definitely been data to support that the formulation has dramatically helped people deal with a health concern. So the formulation itself, as from the herbs that I told you earlier there, are working very, very well to address a number of issues, that address in circulation. And as you well know, I mean, everything is about circulation. If we're ingesting foods, supplements, vitamins, minerals, anything like that, it all has to be absorbed. And if our circulation isn't effective, then obviously the delivery of those nutrients to where it's meant to be is going to be compromised.
So I went to the website and I found some testimonials. There was one that was written by a fellow named Dale, and he said, "Okay, you have a believer in me and a very impressed doctor. I just got my cholesterol test back," he writes. My total cholesterol dropped from 6.46 to 4.60. Triglycerides dropped from 5.09 to 3.15. That's remarkable, which my doctor said was still high, but a great change and heading in the right direction. LDL calculation was invalid when last tested, as my triglycerides were so high as an accurate measurement was not possible. LDL is now 2.07. HDL went from 1.04 to 1.09, blah, blah, blah. So his cholesterol HDL ratio dropped significantly. He never told his doctor about that, but diet and exercise, and he's been able to improve his cardiovascular health. That's one testimonial. There's several here. Some of these are pretty dramatic.
They are indeed. I mean, there's some amazing, and if your listeners go onto the website, there's many there from the people, and they're really just true testimonials of people that have written their stories, shared their stories, and seen the dramatic effect that. So the company are actually floored, and they're very, very grateful. To people who are sending in these testimonials and really just giving their feedback with regards to the formulation and how it's benefiting. And so Strauss, as a company, one of their mandates is really to sort of, is to help people and change, one person at a time, if you want to say that.
Sure.
Helping people, and so the more the message of shows like yourself and people like yourself that are putting out there with regard to sharing this information, hopefully the more people in North America can take a look at this formulation,
absolutely,
consider it, and see if they feel it's going to be of benefit to them.
HeartDropsForLife.ca, the 4 Arabic numeral 4. HeartDropsForLife.ca. You can learn more about Strauss Naturals and their heart drops. We'll talk more about it. LTN.
Are your joints feeling out of date and stiff? Is that old sports injury flaring up? Is your body aching from the daily wear and tear at work? Body Vigor's Joint Ready keeps you at the ready for any joint pain that gets out of line. Unfortunately, as we age, joint pain becomes more common. Body Vigor's Joint Ready can help provide relief so you can continue to go about your day. Our formula contains sulfated forms of glucosamine and chondroitin. Studies show that these sulfated forms are more effective than regular glucosamine bound to hydrochloride. Joint Ready promotes a healthy inflammatory response, facilitates cartilage synthesis, and provides additional antioxidants. Keep your joints at the ready with Body Vigor's Joint Ready, exclusively on Amazon.com.
Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition 2018 edition. Jasmine, too, is my guest, educator for Strauss Naturals, a Canadian company. And the Strauss Heart Drops, I'm at their website, Heart Drops, Arabic numeral 4, Life, heartdropsforlife.ca. And they have a link that says results guaranteed. And you select one. Jazz, welcome back. I'm on that page, by the way. Because you alluded to the guarantee, and I had received an email from one of the principals in the company telling me about it as well. They say select one of the following tests and take it at the beginning of your test phase, and then again at the end of 90 days. I'm quoting. When you see the positive results, continue taking the full daily dose until you achieve your health goal. Some individuals continue to take Strauss Heart Drops daily for maintenance or prevention even after achieving their goal. And the clinical tests, an LV ejection fraction, which is an echocardiogram, a coronary calcium score, or a carotid artery scan using ultrasound. Those are clinical tests. Blood test, you can do a what's called a PLAC, plaque test, or a PULS, pulse cardiac test. Any one of those, right?
That's correct. Any one of those, if people will go and get any one of those tests done from their physician, get those, and they can get it before, and then obviously after taking the product for 90 days at a therapeutic level of the 7.5, it's what's recommended. People will see results, and the product is guaranteed. Again, I mean, we've had numerous testimonials from people that have had some phenomenal results by taking this type of dosage within 90 days. So this is something certainly, that is available for those people that choose to follow.
Well, this is good. I mean, these are data. If you go to heartdropsforlife.ca, they give you further instructions on how to do this. Even tell you what labs, and it's all laid out. It's money back, 90-day money back guarantee. You will see an improvement in any one of those, either clinical tests or blood tests. That's impressive. Very few companies will do that, Jazz.
That's correct. I mean, very few companies will do that and stand by their product and guarantee it. So it's great to see a company like Strauss, and that's really built on that history of, over 300 years and 8 generations of families and just a synergistic, phenomenal formula. So that the platform of that guarantee really stems from those pillars that are put in place. So that gives people the confidence of a product that they're going to take, and they're going to see the results. Not only feel the results, but clinically, see the results too.
I'm on the website. I'm on that page that talks about the guaranteed results, and I know that they have two bottles there. One bottle, the label is red, and the other one is like a deeper burgundy color. Are those? They both say Heart Drops. Are they the same? One has cinnamon in it. Is that it?
That's correct. The one that's more of a darker red or a cinnamon color, I guess, is got the cinnamon flavoring in there too. So they're both exactly the same formula, other than the one of them has a cinnamon flavoring in there. But the formula that I described to you earlier in the show, that's the formula. That's the complete formula in there.
How much should a person take a day? What time of day? How much? Can you take too much? What's the recommendation?
Okay, so from a preventative point of view, certainly 1 ml 3 times a day. That's morning, mid-afternoon, and the evening. It's what's recommended. This is what I personally choose to take myself from a preventative point of view. And at a therapeutic level, it's recommended that they take 7.5 mils. 7.5 mils, and that's it's 2.5 mils 3 times a day. So that's 7.5 mils throughout the day as a therapeutic dose.
And who would be a candidate to take the therapeutic dose?
A lot of of it just depends on the individuals and what's really going on. So people with concerns with any type of circulation issue, Raynaud's condition, or high blood pressure, cholesterol concerns, any type of angina, those types of concerns, definitely those people would be the ones to, that should consider taking a therapeutic dose.
I was reading. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, if people are on medications or have any, severe cardiovascular, then, they'll probably want to speak to their healthcare practitioner, then, their herbalist, their naturopath, their holistic practitioner, in conjunction with their doctor, so that they can obviously get a sense of what's going on.
I was looking at some of the testimonials, and one testimonial, the person referred to that they felt for the first time in a long time that they didn't feel, in their extremities, didn't feel cold, that they had warmed up, meaning that the circulation was improved within a matter of days. In the one testimonial that I was looking at, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the thrust of the testimonial, or at least one of the elements of it anyway.
We get huge a number of testimonials that's similar to that, where, within a few days, people will start noticing some change. And often the first early signs are just warmer peripheries, warmer hands and feet.
That's
and then
good.
Obviously, over a period of time, it's going to work through the circulation, help to repair some of the blood vessels, help with removal of plaque, and help blood to flow through, and therefore better cardiac function, the better delivery of oxygen, better delivery of nutrients.
Sure. The bottle, the dropper, is that 1 milliliter in the dropper?
It's actually graduated, so the actual little dropper has a graduation which shows you the mil. So it can be very carefully just measured up to the line that one needs to do it. It's not necessarily a complete dropper full, but it's graduated to show.
Do you know how much is in a full dropper, by any chance? If you know, if you don't, that's okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
exactly.
good enough.
I would guess that it's probably yeah.
So you were saying that the therapeutic dose is 7.5
mils
a day. 3 times. So break it up into three administrations or 3 doses.
That's correct. So that would work out to be about 2.5 mils 3 times a day.
That would be a therapeutic dose. Okay.
That's correct.
Maintenance 1 mil a day. And the cinnamon is to sort of cut the taste of the garlic taste, right? Is that what it's intended to do?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's there for the flavoring, but it's also, obviously, as you know, cinnamon has some great properties therapeutically. Great in terms of just warming the body, helping digestion, helping circulation. It's great for regulating the sugar level. So it has some great other benefits other than just the flavoring part.
We'll be right back. LTN, Coast to Coast Worldwide.
Are your joints feeling out of date and stiff? Is that old sports injury flaring up? Is your body aching from the daily wear and tear at work? Body Vigor's Joint Ready keeps you at the ready for any joint pain that gets out of line. Unfortunately, as we age, joint pain becomes more common. Body Vigor's Joint Ready can help provide relief so you can continue to go about your day. Our formula contains sulfated forms of glucosamine and chondroitin. Studies show that these sulfated forms are more effective than regular glucosamine bound to hydrochloride. Joint Ready promotes a healthy inflammatory response, facilitates cartilage synthesis, and provides additional antioxidants. Keep your joints at the ready with Body Vigor's Joint Ready, exclusively on Amazon.com.
Here's the LTN health question of the day. Earlier in the show, I was talking about Tom Brady and his dietary regimen and his lifestyle, exercise regime, and this and that. And he's into this notion that, well, if you make the body more alkaline, that will keep you in a greater inflammatory state and whatever. And it's pH. Here's the question. What does pH mean? Does it mean potential of hydration, potential of hydrogen, or pretty hot? What does pH mean? Potential of hydration, potential of hydrogen, or pretty hot? The pretty hot part I got on Saturday from the hair cutter. Yeah. We're talking. You said, Doc, pH means pretty hot. There's a hint as to what it's not the answer. Here's the number to call.
You can call us toll free at 877-897-8255, 877-897-8255, or locally, or the sound of my voice at 813-636-8255.
Yeah, it wasn't my haircut. It was another haircutter in the salon, and I was walking out, and I stopped to talk to her. And we were talking about the chemistry of hair and this and that, different ethnic groups and whatnot, Brazilians, African-Americans, and yet Asians, and so on. And the issue of pH came up. And she said, well, that means pretty hot. Oh, my goodness. Got to have a sense of humor. Jazz, welcome back to the show.
Great.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. We have to have a sense of humor about these things. Pretty hot, pH. Yeah, they didn't teach me that in chemistry.
Absolutely. Well, at least
it's chemistry of a different sort, Jazz.
Yeah, Dr. Gaskel, at least you get to go to a hairdresser. I shave my head. So
I see that.
This is radio when you can't see me. So, but yeah, that's I hope that I'm described as being pretty hot, being a bald guy here.
Do you live in Kamloops, British Columbia? Because that's where the company is.
That's where the company is based. I live about 4 hours drive from there in the city of Vancouver.
Oh, you live in Vancouver. Oh, you lucky dog. Well, I understand Kamloops is absolutely beautiful. I have a good friend that lives there.
It is. It's a beautiful part of the of British Columbia in the interior. So that's where the facility for Strauss are. That's where they've been. They have 2 manufacturing facilities. So that's where everything is done, where raw materials are bought in and processed, and quality control and shipping and everything. That's really the operations part of it.
Yeah, I have a good friend that lives in Kamloops and is a good pal, one of my closest and dearest friends. If
you're ever up,
how's that?
If you're ever up in I was saying, if you're ever up in Kamloops, then you should definitely let us know and come by and have a look at the facility.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Vancouver is one of my favorite cities. That is one of the most progressive cities on the planet. I mean, what a fabulous place. Jazz.
Yes, it is. I mean, it is a beautiful, there's a reason they call it beautiful British Columbia.
Yeah.
And very, very green, very luscious, multicultural, great.
That's what caught my attention. It's so multicultural. I couldn't believe it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know Jazz is a singer, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Are you? You're a singer, man? You sing?
I do. I've been in the music industry for around 30 years. I grew up with music and fronted very many bands and recorded 5-6 albums back in my university days. And now I have 3 sons that are doing music. We have a recording studio in our house, and but yeah, so they've sort of doing the music. And
no wonder I like you, because I'm a musician too. Let's go to Peoria. It plays well in Peoria, by the way. Pam, welcome to the show. It's great to be with you. It must be about 20 degrees there today.
You know what? It was sub-zero today.
Oh,
It was -4 when I got in my car. I was like, why is my car not heating up?
zero. Oh, my goodness. You had to drive
I
to
lived there. Oh, it was terrible.
Peoria.
Really?
Yeah.
How many months of that do you get?
Oh, January and February is generally the worst. So once we get through this,
What did you have on? About 15 pounds of clothing?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Like I was in the Christmas story.
Yeah, you like that little kid. You can't move.
I grew up in Pittsburgh. We had sub-zero once in a while, but wow, 4 below.
Yeah, my dad worked at my stepfather worked at Cat Diesel there in Peoria.
Yeah, I live pretty much a couple miles from there. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you know everybody in Peoria?
Quite a few.
Oh man,
What station are you listening to us on?
Oh, what is it? WVEL?
Oh, okay.
The
good.
Christian channel.
Well, thank you for listening to us. We appreciate it very much.
I enjoy it daily. I truly do.
Yeah, we try to cover the gamut. We talk about serious things here, people's health, wellness, and well-being. Over the weekend, I had a very serious conversation with somebody about their health, and just reminds me of how important it is. I mean, it was not good news for this person, and I broke my heart.
Aww.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you tune in. What does pH mean? Does it mean potential for hydration, potential of hydrogen, or pretty hot?
The last one cracks me up, but I'm going to say potential for hydrogen.
Yeah, it's potential of hydrogen. Yeah, she was, I'll sound sexist, but she was pretty hot herself. So far too young for me, but that's okay. I appreciate it. She was great. She knew a lot about the chemistry of hair and was explaining to me why certain hair was more difficult or easier than others and this and that. Yeah, it was interesting. She knew a lot. She was, of course, being ironic about pH. But congratulations, you won a $25 supplement gift card. Stay warm. Do your best.
Will do.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Jazz, thank you. Please give our best to to the Strauss family and tell them that we're big fans and we love the company. Go to, Strauss.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time and the energy for everything that you do.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And we love doing it and talking about it. It's a wonderful product, and there's much to learn. We covered a little bit of it, but results are guaranteed. Go to heartdropsforlife.ca because your health is your wealth. See you tomorrow.